So, hi CD Projekt Red, RGT85 here. Just in case you guys happen to, stumble across this video, I want to let you guys know a few things about this video. Now, I do not have an early copy of Cyberpunk 2077. I have not played Cyberpunk 2077, and I do not have a broken street date copy of Cyberpunk 2077. This is not a preview for Cyberpunk 2077. This is not a review for Cyberpunk 2077. And all of the footage used within this video of the aforementioned Cyberpunk 2077 is used from official events from the game, which of course falls under the fair use category. This is simply a discussion of the events leading up to the release of your upcoming game, Cyberpunk 2077, and contains no additional information of the game that is not known beyond what has been officially released. Sincerely, RGT85. Now you might be sitting there thinking to yourself, what was that intro? Where's the goofs? Where's the gaffes? Where's the laughs? And yes, that was pretty much done in a professional way to sort of clear the air about what this video is going to be about, because this video is about Cyberpunk 2077, but it's not necessarily about the game itself. It's more about the events leading up to the game itself, and why? I don't know. I'm just a bit concerned about this game because there's a lot of strange things happening. Now, Cyberpunk 2077 is of course releasing this week on December 10th, but really the situation about the game has been really less than ideal. There's been of course so many delays with this game, even subsequent delays that happened this year. Some were a few further out than others, but all that fear can be put to rest very soon, like I said, because, well, the game is coming out this week. But I can't help but feel that something is a bit off with this game. Something just doesn't feel right with this game, and I think it could end up being potentially a problem. So some retailers have broken the street date for Cyberpunk, and a lot of people were able to get an early copy of this game. Some of them were actually shipped to individuals from Best Buy, and they were just kind of like, why is this package here? Okay, cool. Now I have Cyberpunk 2077 before everyone else does. Now this sort of ties into a situation involving Dreamcast Guy, which I will talk about later on in this video. But first, I pretty much want to talk about what a review embargo or a preview embargo is when it comes to a video game and how it works. So basically, you ask for a review copy of the game. Sometimes you fill out a form, sometimes you just email someone that's a representative of the company, and if you happen to get a review copy of the game, you're basically signing an agreement saying that you won't violate the terms of this agreement. Within an embargo, there's different sorts of release dates of when you can publish information on the game, whether it's written or in video format, and sometimes it extends beyond that to just preview and review footage. Now, when it comes to preview videos, you can pretty much talk about whatever you want, you just can't score the game, whereas in a review, you can actually give the game a score. So that's why when you see a bunch of different websites and content creators that all put up a review or a preview for a game at the exact same time, it's because they're following the agreement that was set in the embargo, not because there's some weird sort of conspiracy theory happening or anything like that. It's actually pretty cut and dry. And this happens, of course, in most forms of entertainment, from music and movies to, of course, video games. So it's pretty standard stuff. Now, like I said, you're essentially agreeing to the terms within this embargo, but what if you get a copy of the game that's not dictated by the embargo? It's not from the company themselves. You happen to get an early copy of the game. Do you have to withheld to those embargo rules? And that's where things become a bit of a gray area. And that's what's going on with Dreamcast Guy right now. He actually found someone locally that was selling a street broken copy of Cyberpunk 2077. He purchased it from them, probably at a scalper price. Damn you, Max, do not give in to these scalpers. Come on, man, you know better than that. And on December 6th, which is today, he actually uploaded a video talking about his thoughts on Cyberpunk 2077. Now, in this video, it was just him talking. There was no gameplay footage that he captured or anything like that, but CD Projekt Red actually reached out to him and asked him to take down his video talking about the preview for the game, now which he did. When it comes to the embargo of this game, from what I understand, the embargo for the gameplay and preview information actually lifts tomorrow on December 7th, but since I don't have an early copy of the game or a copy of this embargo, I can neither confirm nor deny that. That's just sort of what I've been told. So if you get a copy of a game via other means that's not through a publisher, it just happens to be an early stream street date, or maybe it's sent to you early from a company themselves, do you have to adhere to the embargo rules? And to me, I don't really see how you would necessarily have to. And I know some people are going to disagree with me on that, and that's fine. It's really just a gray area anyways, so it's up to interpretation. But if you happen to get an early copy of the game that's not from a publisher, it could be from someone that you just know locally, or like I said, a company like Best Buy sends out the game early to you, do you have to adhere to embargo rules that are set for other people? It's definitely a gray area. So why was Max, aka Dreamcast Guy, pretty much singled out with this? Why would CD Projekt Red notice his video and go after him? Well, it's because he has a YouTube audience, a pretty sizable YouTube audience at nearly 200,000 subscribers, so it kind of does paint a little bit of a target on his back. So obviously CD Projekt Red wants this to be a controlled thing. They don't want these previews to go out until the embargo lifts on that. But Max just wasn't really sort of tied to that embargo. He just wanted to share his thoughts on the game. Now, once again, do I think Max or CD Projekt Red is in the wrong here? Honestly, I don't think either of them are in the wrong, because you can make a case for both CD Projekt Red wanting that video to be taken down, and you can make a case for Max wanting to lift that video. But it's just something I wanted to talk about because it leads into this next portion of things where this is where the concerns should start coming into play. So Max obviously isn't the only individual in the world who got an early copy of Cyberpunk 2077. There are other individuals who have been posting things like screenshots and little gameplay videos on Twitter. And these people are now quickly realizing something, that, well, CD Projekt Red is also coming for them. These pictures, these images, even these GIFs have been stricken down by CD Projekt Red that are just simply showcasing gameplay from Cyberpunk 2077. Now, these people don't have a large following like Dreamcast Guy or anything like that. These are simply just your average Joe who happened to get an early copy of the game, and they're just showing some stuff online about this game. Honestly, that's where the red flags really start to pop up for me, because I'm sitting here thinking, this game comes out officially in 4 days on December 10th. If there's not major plot spoilers in this footage, if there's not major story elements that's in this footage, if it's simply just gameplay of the game Cyberpunk 2077, what's the harm in this? What's the foul in this? Why can't people show off a little bit of gameplay? It's not like they're showing off the full entire game. These are literally like 25, 30-second clips. These are still images of the game. And, you know, I don't get that. It doesn't really make sense to me, because CD Projekt Red is going out of their way to strike these clips and essentially have them removed from the internet. And that's sort of where I got to heavily thinking about Cyberpunk 2077 just as a video game, and I realized something. I don't think we've actually seen a preview for Cyberpunk 2077 that wasn't done in a very heavily controlled environment. Pretty much all of the gameplay that we've seen so far for Cyberpunk 2077 has either been at a CD Projekt Red event or at a Microsoft event. Now, Microsoft does have the marketing rights to Cyberpunk, which is why you don't see it during PlayStation events. But all these have been very, very controlled preview events. Now, there's been a few podcasters and smaller YouTube channels out there that have been able to get their hands on Cyberpunk. Some of them have even had the chance to upload videos about Cyberpunk. But let's be realistic. These people are the same sort of people that always seem to end up getting like the Cyberpunk care package and the Cyberpunk chair. Now, do I think that that discredits their opinion on the game? No, not at all. You can definitely still have a fair opinion about the game, even though the company decided to send you some swag. But I do feel like, at least at the very basic, subconscious level, that maybe, just maybe, it would influence you a little bit. So looking at it, there really hasn't been a true third-party opinion about this game yet, and it's coming out in 4 days. So why is this happening? What is with the secrecy around Cyberpunk 2077, which is supposed to be this huge, massive game, one of the biggest, if not the biggest games of 2020? Why is CD Projekt Red holding all of their cards so close to their chest, merely 4 days away from the release of this game? And I think, and like I said, this is just based on my opinions leading up to the events that we've seen so far, as I have not played the game and most likely won't play the game until the official release date, that maybe it's not as good as people were hoping for with this game. This game was announced back in 2012, 8+ years ago, and ever since it was announced, there's been a ton of hype surrounding this game. Sometimes games can become a bit too ambitious with these long development cycles, and the longer development cycles can actually sort of hinder the game a bit because you keep wanting to add more and more stuff to this game. You're essentially looking at other games that are coming out during the development of this game, and you're like, oh, that's really cool. We should should add this into our open world game. We should take this from this game and put it in our open world game. And sometimes the scope of the project just ends up becoming too large. The delays, the secrecy, the striking, all of these things just sound very strange to me, as considering that we are so close to the release date of Cyberpunk 2077. And really, I hope the game is great. I hope it does meet people's expectations, because it's a game that, like I said, I'm going to be buying it, and I don't want to waste my money, and neither do a lot of people. But I just can't help but feel that, I don't know, something feels a bit off with Cyberpunk 2077, and our questions will be answered very soon, in just a matter of a few days when the game comes out. But I'm sort of reeling back expectations a bit for this game. I'm sort of holding things back, that maybe, just maybe, it's not going to be that huge 10 out of 10 game that we necessarily thought it was going to be. But that's sort of my thoughts on the whole situation involving Cyberpunk 2077, because it's very strange to me. I don't like seeing things like this, because it usually means that there are red flags with the game. But hopefully it's just me being paranoid. Hopefully it's just me overanalyzing the situation, and Cyberpunk 2077 ends up being a fantastic game. But let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this. Do you think that some of these things are a bit strange? Do you think the secrecy about this game is sort of strange as well? Why we haven't been able to see a lot of third-party people talk about this game? Why clips are being stricken down from the internet for simply just showing off gameplay from the game that everyone will be able to experience very, very soon? And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, check out other videos on the channel as well, and as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Later.